never did. Tell us about it. What happened?
2009, I was arrested. Actually, 2009. You know, I can't get into the specifics because I don't know. I just know I was pulled over and I was arrested in 2009, and I've been sitting in jail until 2018 when I was released.
So they put you in jail. They arrested you in 2009.
Yes.
What did they tell you had done?
They arrested me for murder.
They arrested you for murder, and it was a car stop where they arrested you?
Yes. Yes, it was actually, I was actually out of town going on my way to New York, and I got pulled over. Well, actually, the person that was driving got pulled over for speeding, and they arrested me. They ran my license. You know, I gave them my license, you know, because I didn't know what.
Because you felt like, okay, I didn't do anything wrong. Sure, here's my license.
You know, I was a passenger, so I had no problem. I had no problem with giving them my ID or nothing. So they ran my ID, and when they ran it, they said I had a warrant, and I thought I asked them what was the warrant for, and they didn't want to tell me until I got to the station. And when they told me that, I thought it was some type of a sick joke or something. But once they printed the paper, I was a wanted paper with my face on it saying wanted armed and dangerous. That's when I knew it was real. And they locked me up, and I've been in jail since then.
Okay. Now, this was in 2009 when they did this. Where was it where they locked you up?
In New York.
In New York.
Upstate New York, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And so they then brought you back here?
Yes, I was extradited. Yes.
Okay. And was this based on a case that was done by a certain detective?
Yes. Yes. Detective Philip Nordo, he was recently fired from the homicide division. You know, he actually got caught up in somebody else's case. He got caught on having telephone conversations with a witness on another guy's case, and he was giving money to the guy, and he had like some type of relationship with this witness on somebody else's case. And another attorney actually found that out by doing his own investigation and seeing that he was putting money on the witness books, and they actually went back and started listening to the conversations that he had, and it was an improper relationship that he had with this witness in another case.
And so when they looked at that case and saw his improper behavior in that case, what bearing did that have on your case?
Well, I was saying this all along. This was part of, you know, my appellate process. I actually did a petition because from the beginning, every witness on my case, they recanted the statements that was used against me. And the key witness, he told them at my trial that this detective made constant threats to him and coerced him into implicate me in this crime. So they knew this from the beginning, but nobody ever believed any of the witnesses. They just went off of the detective, the original statement that he took.
And so he took this original statement from this person. Now, did this person get less time or get some kind of deal for saying that you had something to do with this murder?
No, as far as I know, no. But he said he kept coming to his court dates and making threats to him from the beginning. But by the time my trial came, he actually said he got tired of the harassment from the cop, and he told him what was going on at my trial. He told the judge and everyone what was going on.
And that didn't have any bearing. You still got locked up.
Yes.
So he told the judge, and the judge what, said, I don't believe you, or?
No, but I had a jury trial, so it was basically what the jury believed. And you know, 9 times out of 10, the jury going to believe the side of the law enforcement than a guy who has a criminal record who's saying that this detective forced him to do these things. You know, and it was basically the perception that they painted me as. It was basically a sympathy thing where they made the jury feel bad, you know, in which it was a sad case because it was an innocent victim. But at the same time, I felt like I'm innocent also.
Yeah.
So, but they just painted a picture of me to the jurors that I was this bad person, you know, and the district attorney did whatever he had to do to win the case. He didn't really care if I was innocent or not.
Yeah. And so we are talking with Jamal Simmons. He was arrested in 2009 and then subsequently imprisoned for a murder that he did not commit. And so now that this thing has come out about this detective who they said was acting improperly in other cases, when they began to look at your case, did you know that they were looking at your case?
Yes. What happened was, as I had my petition in, you know, it's a long process, you know, because it's so crowded with petitions that's already in. So I actually was waiting while the detective was getting investigated or whatever was going on with him. I actually had my paperwork was already getting processed. So when Larry Krasner when he came into office, he started the conviction integrity unit, which helps with, you know, wrongly convicted prisoners and things of that nature. And once I found out about that, I got the right paperwork with that, and I filled it out, and I sent it to my attorney, who submitted it for me along with, you know, and I told him about the articles that I seen on the detectives from Nordo. So he put that in, he submitted that, and basically once they seen that, they put it together with the other cases, and they said they might have something. So the integrity unit ended up doing their own investigation. They took over. Once they took over, things started to go smooth for me. So they start hiring investigators, speaking to all the witnesses on the case, and once they spoke to all the witnesses and it added up, they started to believe that I could possibly be innocent.
And how long ago was this that they started looking at your case?
I submitted it. I submitted it maybe about 6 months ago. And I say maybe about a month before my court date is when they actually went over everything as far as with my trial transcripts and with the witnesses and all that. Maybe about 2 months before I was released.
Okay. And in terms of the people who testified against you, because it was one person in particular, from what you're saying, who testified against you in this case and then later on recanted, what would you say to them now, having done all this time in prison for something that you didn't do?
To the witness?
Yeah.
Well, I had to be thankful because the witness actually was part of the reason I got out, because he gave more information afterwards to the integrity unit. So he actually helped me out, you know, part of the reason that I got out, because his story added up from the beginning.
Yeah.
Once he told him, you know, that the detective coerced him and put him through these horrible conditions to make him, you know, implicate me in this crime. So I'm grateful at the same time, but at the same time also I'm kind of, it still hurt me because I can never get my years back.
Right.
You know, I can never get that back.
We're talking with Jamal Simmons. He has served time in prison beginning in 2009 for a murder he did not commit, and he just got out of prison and is sharing his story with us this morning. And so this Detective Nordo, had you ever met him before? Had you ever talked to him before? Did he interview you about this case or anybody that you knew about this case?
No, as far as I know, I never met him, as far as I know.